Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Game Vault podcast stream. I'm your host, Mark. We're back with the news hour for the second to last week in June 2026. We're past Key 3 season. We're getting ready to ramp up for the ungodly amount of games coming out in September. So I hope you all are here along for the ride for the next couple months here. Got to figure out what my game will be for stream coming up. Got to figure out which one of those Septembers. We'll talk about that another time. Just popped in my head about that. But yeah, hope everybody had a good Father's Day out there for those of you that celebrate. And a good Juneteenth for those that also celebrate as well. Your boy here just relaxed all weekend. Didn't do much. Did a little cleaning around the house, obviously, you know. When it's just me, I do have to do the cleaning. But I didn't, go anywhere. Didn't do anything really too strenuous. Played less video games than I wanted to, but I think I was just kind of just, as they said, just kind of relaxing. And I hope you guys had fun and relaxed as well. Okay. Yep, do the right thing for Juneteenth. It's a great movie. I saw it one time just regular, and then we saw it as part of a movie class when I was in college. So I forget, it was my freshman year, so I forget the exact discussion on it. I think it was more about Spike Lee's filmography and things like that. But I remember we specifically watched that in class for that session. So very good movie. But for me, in terms of video games, let's start off with what I streamed this week. We played some more UN Squadron. We didn't beat any of the levels, but we got really, really close to one, which I found out later looking up some... I was just trying to figure out, like, weapon guides and stuff like that. Not anything like hints or tricks. And somebody called this level the Hell level, the one that we almost beat. Just because... If you go in without the knowledge that the only way to hit the thing is on the ceiling, and you don't go with anything that shoots up, you're basically fucked, and you can't defeat it. So that's the one we're almost done. The other one seems to be easier according to what I've seen, so maybe we'll go down there first to beat that. But we got two more levels left. We have this one we've been playing, the other one, and then the main final one at the end. I did find out some great information about it, which I should have researched. I'll mention this on the podcast because we're not doing it this week. This week is the podcast Prime Game of the Month. Tom will be playing that on Monday. So we will be, giving a little bit of history that I found out. I did not know that this game was modeled after a manga I think it's definitely a manga. It might be an anime too, over in Japan, called like something 88 or something, which is why all those 88s come up when you destroy a Squadron 88 or something, when you defeat the bases, and the arcade edition, the arcade version like had a lot more options in terms of who you choose and all that, and gives you more of a reason, then they very simplified it on the Super Nintendo, but it's as faithful of a transition from arcade as you'll get. So learned a lot reading up on UN Squadron. Still loving it. No matter how frustrating it's getting, I'm still enjoying the gameplay, the fun aspect of bullet hells like that. As you feel yourself getting better, it's that little bit of Dark Souls twinge in you when you feel yourself getting better against the boss. You feel that a lot in this level. You start memorizing it and start knowing where things are coming from and how to attack and how to avoid, and it's very fun in that sense. And for those who are watching the video, on Podcast Prime, we picked our Backlog Busters, which we'll be playing also on here in the next month. So Yeah, it should have been. Said Control should have been Jen's backlog buster. Um, yeah, I did not get to choose it this month, so I believe it was Tom. Yeah, it had to be Tom that chose it this week. But I can't wait to bring you guys Hatoful Boyfriend. I've only seen like a third of that game when it was streaming when it was popular. And the one thing I can guarantee for you guys is they will all stay birds. I will not make them their anime counterparts. Yeah. So, yeah. Like I said, I think I've seen a third of that game, so I'm excited to play more of it. Yeah, it's a legitimate good, from what I saw, visual novel. You can substitute the birds for anime boys and girls, but I'm just going to keep them birds. It's more fun. So watch out for that. That might be Friday. It depends on how this week goes. Thursday, I'm not going to be here for FF10. Tom will probably still stream, but I'm going to the World Cup game that's here in Philly on Thursday. So maybe I'll have Tom delay FF10 so I don't miss it. But we'll talk about that. But yeah, so sometime this week I'm gonna do my backlog buster. So let you know when. Yeah, so UN Squadron's great. We're almost done. We got probably a couple more weeks. Worst case, if it drags on too long, I might just call it and go to the next game. But we're like a month or so out from that. So don't worry about that. But, yeah. Yeah, or we'll add more cheats to it to just get through it. Because I really want to get on to the next games in that series. But yeah, I'm still having a ton of fun. It's not frustrating me yet, which is why I said we have a lot of time before I pull the ripcord and just figure out a way to beat the game. Just to show you guys the ending. Yeah, and then on Saturday, I played some more Trails. We're at the very end. We're literally in the last dungeon part. But between Twitch being Twitch and just not... I was dropping frames and things were going in and out. The game crashed because a whole bunch of stuff happened that I was planning on finishing the game yesterday, and then all that stuff happened. And then when we got to the final dungeon, it was like, oh, you might be coming back and forth to this hub location multiple times. And I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't just we're just going to the dungeon. This is like a, final area type deal. So I'll just do all that and we'll just beat it next week on Saturday. But the story got really, really great. My favorite part was I yelled about it in one section, but again, it was meant to be like deceiving you. But in one section, they have somebody from the past game or somebody you know who's previously in this game comes back to help you out. And they pop his little portrait up on screen next to his thing, and it just says "man in coat" or something like that. And I'm like, we all know who that is. Like, why are they hiding this? So that was fun. But combat's still great. Still loving the story. I love how it's showing growth amongst all the characters, and actually telling a very good, coherent story. It looks like they might land the plane too with this, which is usually kind of tough. Especially since I know there's another game after this and a bunch of other games after that. So, we'll see where that goes. That was a lot of fun on Sunday. And then games I've been playing off stream. So all day today because on Friday, I believe. Yeah, it was on Friday. Nextlander did a trucking stream because it won their patron poll, and the game got me to get back on my bullshit, and for most of the day today in the afternoon, I played American Truck Simulator and drove a tank full of chemicals from Barstow, California to something Texas, somewhere in the eastern part of Texas, and then I took a bunch of mining equipment or logging equipment, probably logging equipment, from Los Angeles up to Seattle. So I spent most of my afternoon doing that. And that game is fun. It's just relaxing. I found a new radio station from work where If you go on iHeartRadio, you can listen to previous American Top 40s, the thing that's on Sunday mornings on the radio, if you still listen to radio, from back in the 90s and 2000s. So you can hear all these old songs, and my favorite part about that, and this is not a music podcast, but one thing I want to point out, I've been telling everybody, my favorite part is when they announce a new band in there, and it's like some band that becomes the most popular thing in the world, like a Taylor Swift or a Destiny's Child, and it's just like, the first week that Destiny's Child was ever on that list, he just goes, oh, so a debut single from these 4 young ladies from Houston, Texas. And it's a fun little time capsule for that. And also there's long distance dedications, and some of them are just bonkers and funny. But yeah. No, you the fun part is you can't, it's a stream. So you can't actually choose the year and date. It's just like a radio station playing through them randomly, like on shuffle. So you can't really choose, and you can't rewind. So it's kind of like listening to it on the radio. So yeah, no, this is American Top 40 with Casey Kasem. That's on Sunday mornings. But it's a fun time capsule for someone that likes things that are time capsules, like watching old news broadcasts and stuff. It's pretty fun. But I played that while playing American Truck Simulator, and it made the time go a little faster than it did, and I think I'll use that combination going forward. But yeah, so I updated, got a lot of money for my 2 trips, bought another truck for one of my drivers, hired another driver. I bought a trailer to help me get more money. I'm trying to play the actual game part of the game instead of just the deliveries. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that was my entire afternoon. Had a lot of fun with American Truck Simulator. Did not buy the Louisiana, Illinois, Iowa expansions yet. Didn't need to, but I will get there eventually with them. I got to save up a little money. I got NCAA coming in 2 weeks. So we can hold off on the American Truck stuff. I don't play it enough to make it a desperate purchase. I can wait until South Dakota and British Columbia are out and buy them in 5. All 5 at the same time. And then on Friday, I essentially played most of Friday, played FIFA, or FC, EAFC 23 for an entire day. So guys probably aren't too keen to really want to hear about that, but I did play it all day. Had some fun, in the transfer market, and just did things that would just make people's heads explode. If it was real life covering the transfer market for soccer. So that was my Friday, just relaxing, had my day off, and just played a whole lot of FC. And then the newest thing, I did get a Switch 2 recently, and in the deal where you can pick one of the 3, I went with the monetary savings one, which was getting Mario Kart World, since it's a $30 savings to get that. And I'll just get Donkey Kong Bonanza later. And I may or may not get Pokopia. I'm just not really a huge Pokemon guy, so it was definitely third on the list for that reason. But yeah, so I played through some of the Mario Kart. It's Mario Kart. They didn't really add anything to it, as Jonathan was telling me. But it's still a good, podcast thing of having that on while playing Mario Kart and just unlocking the characters by beating the levels on 50cc. I did like the mode where you, like the knockout mode thing. I thought that was kind of fun because it gets very chaotic at the end with that. I may or may not try that online because as frustrating as it could be, that could be kind of fun. And then the other thing I tried out, I tried out F-Zero 99. And I don't know exactly how good it is. It's F-Zero, and F-Zero is great. But as a game itself, I don't know exactly, what your... It has a couple things different from F-Zero. But I finished in the top 10 in every race I've done, so I don't know if I'm just playing against a bunch of bots and then maybe one or two other people. but it didn't seem hard for the racing. So I don't know exactly. It was fun. It was a good time waster. It wasted about an hour. Just going through, having fun with that. And then I also played the classic stuff because I signed up for Nintendo Switch Online. I got the $20 for a year, just so I can. I put all my saves into the cloud just in case if anything fucked up with the transfer, that I didn't lose any saves. So I don't mind spending $20 to not lose my Tears of the Kingdom save. So, yeah, having fun with the Switch too. Got to try out the Star Fox demo, of course. Didn't get a chance to do that yet, but I will probably get that at some point this summer, Star Fox. And maybe it will be a game we play through when I eventually get it. So, yeah, I'm playing. I played this a lot more than I played. Maybe it's the newness factor of it than I did my Switch recently. I should probably finish Final Fantasy 1, the save that I have that's almost at the end, from my Florida trip. But yeah, so now it's all set up. One fun thing. So 2 things went wrong when I got the code didn't work for the game, so I had to go through the Nintendo service. And the HDMI cord they sent me, the literal one that's like sealed and from them, was broken. It would go in and there'd be artifacting. I think that's what it's called. I agree with that. It is much more comfortable handheld. It was like bringing those green lines and stuff would come up and there'd be like flaking in there, as I call it. That's probably artifacting or whatever. And then it would sometimes just lose connection and come back in, lose connection, come back in. So I switched it for another HDMI cord. I had no problems. So apparently the HDMI cord they sent me was busted. So that was awesome. I bought this from Nintendo. I did not buy a third party. I did not buy it like in a store. I literally bought this from Nintendo. And we had 2 issues with it. I'm just laughing about it because it's not a big deal, but it's kind of funny that the sealed HDMI cord was broken. So I got it up and running in there. We'll probably play Tomodachi Friday, no matter whether it's me or Tom streaming on Friday. So you'll get to see the Switch 2 in action. All right. I think that does it for everything I've been playing. You're going to be hearing a lot about NCAA college football in about a couple weeks, so get ready. Sports ball on the way. But yeah, if you guys have played anything that you are greatly interested in, feel free to just put it in the Discord. If you aren't on the Discord, make sure you go to the Patreon. That's patreon.com / TCTAMPod. That's TCTAM pod. And it's just $1 and you get to talk to us about video games and anything else. Music, video games, movies, our podcast episodes where they called us a movie. You can give suggestions, vote on polls. I might start putting polls in there for the video games. I'm trying to think of things to just make it more interactive in terms of the stream to that aspect to give you a reason to go there. So make sure you do go there. Once again, it's patreon.com / TCTAM pod. Just for $1, you can join us over there. And now, without further ado, it's time for the news. So first up, GTA 6 revealed its cover art and locks in the November release date. Well, locks in quotes. We'll see. Rockstar Games has revealed the official cover art for Grand Theft Auto 6. It's also confirmed that pre-orders for the game will start next week. Pre-orders for Grand Theft Auto 6 will officially begin on June 25th on digital storefronts and at other select retailers. The news that a pre-order campaign launches next week will essentially lock in the game's November 19th release date, and calm fears that it might be delayed again. Digital platform holders typically only allow pre-orders for games to open when a game is less than a year from release. GTA 6 has been subject of widespread speculation for many years, with this extending to even the date it would be available for pre-order. In May, YouTuber FrogboyX1 Gaming received an email that appeared to be from a U.S. retail giant Best Buy regarding GTA 6. The email informed him that a pre-order campaign for physical copies of GTA 6 would take place from May 18th to 21st, with affiliates eligible to receive 5% for each sale they link to. Obviously, this did not come to pass. Selecting the email was sent out in error. So, we officially got everything. Yeah. Sometimes when I read these, because some of them sound weird but are legitimate sources. Like, I think it's Nate the Hate he gets like 90% of his stuff right. But yeah, this one, it's like, yeah, sure, buddy. Completely legitimate. And he ended up being wrong, so we don't have to worry about that name again. But yeah, so GTA 6, we'll see. I don't know if it'll happen. I still want Nintendo to just say, fuck it, and put the Ocarina of Time remake on November 19th as well. And just say, and then when their sales are just as good as it normally would have been with GTA there, it can make everyone else look like dumbasses for avoiding GTA. I still say games that are not GTA likes or liked by the same, like Call of Duty should avoid it. Anything like that should avoid it. Obviously. But a game like Zelda or even Control or, there are games that could have released in November that GTA would not have interfered with. Gears of War, sure. Stuff like that. But yeah, my dream is that Nintendo goes head to head with GTA with Ocarina. I want them to do it so bad. They probably won't. And the thing is, what makes it funnier, and I don't know if Night Duck's ever noticed this, when Nintendo has a big November release that they're doing at the end of a year or something like that, anytime, it's 95% of the time, it is the Thursday or Friday before Black Friday, so that it is in stores for Black Friday. They've done it a bunch. I don't have the dates in front of me. Somebody ran them down before. That a bunch of the big things. I think Odyssey did that. I think. What was the other one? I think Tears. I think a bunch of the older stuff that they like that Friday before Black Friday to release something big. And November 19th happens to be the Friday before Black Friday, or the week before Black Friday. So yeah. We'll see. I want them to go head to head because it would be so Nintendo to just ignore it, and it would be so much fun. As Night Duck said in the chat for the audio listeners, Ocarina of Time versus GTA 6 is Kong versus Godzilla. It really is. It's two different fan bases, and both games will sell extraordinarily well. And so yeah, so if you're looking forward to GTA 6, you're pretty much locked in for that November date. Next up, speaking of GTA, Rockstar is giving last-gen GTA 5 owners a free upgrade. Rockstar has announced that anyone who owns the digital versions of Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS4 or Xbox One will receive a free upgrade to the current generation's version of the game. Announced as part of GTA Online's update, Rockstar said that those who own any PS4 version or the digital Xbox One version of Grand Theft Auto 5 will be able to upgrade to PS5 or Xbox Series X version at no additional charge. The free upgrades will be released on Thursday. The current generation versions of GTA 5 were released on March 15, 2022, and included major graphical and performance upgrades. According to Rockstar, the current generation ports introduced high-end PC visuals to the console experience with new graphics modes featuring up to 4K resolution, blah, 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 blah. So essentially, if you bought GTA 5 digital, you can upgrade it to your PS5 or Xbox Series X. I think I bought it physical, so I don't think I'm eligible for this. I think I bought a physical Xbox. I'll have to look. If I bought a physical PlayStation, It seems like I might be able to upgrade on PS5, but not 100% sure of that. But we'll see. But yeah, if it's only digital for Xbox, then I am shit out of luck, as they say. SOL. On this. So, but if you did buy GTA 5 digital, this is my PSA. If you didn't already know about this, go get your free upgrades if you have the new systems. Next up, we have the sad, terrible Xbox news. Xbox being very, very bad. Xbox Studios, Compulsion, Double Fine, and Ninja Theory facing closure. It's claimed. There's an update to one of these we'll get to next. That's according to Bloomberg, which first reported the news and corroborated by Video Games Chronicle's own sources, who indicated that Compulsion Games, Double Fine, and Ninja Theory are among those in active negotiations to spin off from Xbox. The Xbox studios are said to be at risk of shuttering, but have the opportunity to buy themselves back from Microsoft and go independent. So, employees are likely to lose jobs as a result, according to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. Employees of several studios have been informed of the situation and given permission to seek new work, but we're told that the status of the studios is still in flux. Cambridge, England-based Ninja Theory Hellblade announced a new game, Senua, just last week at the Xbox Game Showcase. Both Compulsion, South of Midnight, and Double Fine, Kiln have released games in the last year. All three studios are known for creating award-winning original games, but not necessarily commercial hits. The potential studio closures or sales come as a part of expected widespread cuts at Microsoft's gaming division, which was foreshadowed this week by comments from CEO Satya Nadella and Xbox boss Ashish Sharma, who warned that the Xbox business needed to be more profitable in the future. Concerns first arose last week that Nintendo was planning another round of layoffs after Sharma stated during a Bloomberg Tech conference that she planned on resetting the business because it was not in a healthy spot. Shortly after, Bloomberg reported that Microsoft is planning significant cuts to its gaming division, reportedly planned to take place shortly after the end of its fiscal year on June 30th. So yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's... yeah. Yeah, it gets... I'll get to the Hellblade stuff in a second. That's my next story. Basically here, this... It's basically, this is everything that those of us that were pretty much thinking that what our Ashish Sharma was going to do is basically what is happening. But then they started saying the right things, and you kind of get convinced a little bit, maybe conned or whatever, to go, oh, maybe not. Maybe they're trying a different thing to kind of, redo the business, model than buy every studio like the last one was. But here it just looks like literally, instead of these companies make money, they just don't make enough money. That's the problem. Like, all these places are profitable, but they don't keep being profitable. There's a word for it. Night Duck probably will get what I'm trying to say. Like, year over year profits have to keep going up and not down or not flat. And creative game studios like this that aren't commercially explosive successes are just going to stay plateaued, and they're not going to raise things like that in terms of profiting. So, no surprise. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. They have to be better than the most successful game of all time to be considered a success. And it's just... I don't know where the business is right now with this. A lot of these independent games I watched on the separate shows give me hope that there's at least good things to play out there. But I think everything's fucked in the AAA studio, and we've been sort of talking about that for a while. But yeah, after that press conference on Sunday, you were like, oh, maybe Xbox sort of righting the ship a little bit. A lot of these things look good, and sort of like, okay, maybe not my cup of tea, but I can see how that would appeal to mostly Xbox gamers and all that, and then this comes out. And you're just like, whatever, dude. Yeah. Yeah, so speaking of Hellblade, So, next story here. Microsoft already planned Ninja Theory closure when it announced Senua, it claimed. Microsoft had already decided to sunset or split Hellblade developer Ninja Theory when it announced its latest game, Senua, it's been claimed. Just 10 days ago, UK based developer Ninja Theory announced Senua, the third game in the critically acclaimed Hellblade series. However, since the game's announcement, the studio behind it has been in the subject of multiple reports claiming it, along with Microsoft stablemates Compulsion Games and Double Fine, could close. When these reports were published, many were surprised due to the fact that Ninja Theory had only days earlier announced its new game for 2027. It's now claimed that the impending changes at Ninja Theory were already well underway before the trailer debuted. According to GameFile, citing a source familiar with Microsoft's operations, plans were already in place to close the studio or sell it off when the game was announced. By the time that game was revealed, Microsoft had already planned to sunset or split with the studio. The thinking was that the promise of a newly announced game would help draw investor interest in the studio. The report states that it's currently unknown if anybody at Ninja Theory was involved in this plan. So, yeah. So I'll say this. What they're doing to Compulsion and Double Fine is fucked up. Yes. But this is even more fucked up. Yeah. And I'll just reiterate for the audio listeners what Night Duck's saying on the stream here. Hellblade is like their only successful living franchise at this point. And essentially, it's incredibly fucked up to do what they did. Same with me. I understand why you put the trailer out there to try to draw, excitement from a buyer or something like that. But the problem with what they did here, mostly, is because from the reports, and I don't know if there's been any updates to this since I pulled the story, but they didn't seem to like they made Ninja Theory a part of that thought process. That's what's incredibly fucked up here. If they told Ninja Theory, hey, we're either going to sunset or we're going to figure out a way to split off or you guys spin independent, but hey, make that game trailer for us, make Senua look as good as possible. Maybe we pop something on Sunday and a buyer comes in and it buys you from us and doesn't, makes this thing a lot easier. And if Ninja Theory went, okay, thumbs up, I would be less upset about this. But the fact that it doesn't seem like they talked to anybody at Ninja Theory before doing this is incredibly, incredibly fucked up. And they, as I know from somebody mentioned on Blue Sky, if you need to make a trailer or some kind of playable demo or something like that for a press conference or something, you add like a month to development time. So they literally took a month or more out of their development time to make this trailer. And they were thinking that Microsoft was still involved with it at that time. That's what's incredibly fucked up here. None of the choices Microsoft has made in the last week make any sense outside of the fact that they're not making enough money to make up for all the money that Microsoft is losing because of AI, because of Copilot. Microsoft, Big M, is losing a ton of money on that AI stuff, and they are blaming Xbox for not closing that gap, and that's what I think is happening here. So they're trying to cut expenses and hope that the big games hit big. And if you're already losing money and needing to cut expenses, let's put Gears of War on one system that's the most expensive system on the market for people to buy. Yeah, it makes no sense to go full exclusive with some games that could sell you a bunch of money elsewhere. So, Microsoft and Xbox being shitheads. Nothing new. Moving on. Speaking of expensive things, MSI prices its latest handheld at $1,800. As execs say, it will be a tough year for us and the gamers. The MSI Claw 8 EX AI Plus was announced last month, and early estimates suggest that the handheld would be likely priced around $1,500. The handheld has now been listed on MSI's official store. However, the price is $1,800 essentially. For this, users get an Intel Arc G3 Extreme GPU, Intel Arc B390 graphics, 32 gigs of LPDDR5X memory, and an 8-inch IPS touchscreen, and 1 terabyte of SSD storage. In an interview with, I don't know what website that is, it's FRVR, MSI product marketing lead Angie Chu said the company tried its best to make the handheld as affordable as possible, but noted that component costs still make this difficult. All I can say is that we tried every approach to get the memory and also storage at a lower cost, Chu explained, like deepening the relationship between us and also those suppliers to have some deals. And I think we have done everything we can to make our system as affordable as possible. But unfortunately, I think the result is what you see right here. So I would say yes, it'll be a tough year for us and for the gamer. Chu also said that while MSI's latest handheld is expensive, when compared to the Steam Deck OLED, which after its recent price hike now costs $949 for tech that's essentially 4 years old, the MSI Claw 8 EX AI Plus at least performs better in a market that's now aimed solely at players who can spend a lot of money on hardware. I don't know where the market will go, but I will say that the handheld market is now entering a time where it's time to take a closer look at what it can offer, he explained. Maybe in the past, for example, Steam Deck is really approachable in terms of price, so maybe I didn't need to think too much while getting one. But as you can see, Steam Deck also costs a lot right now. So I'd say it's good timing to take a look at what kind of the true potential or the capability of this new handheld can provide us. Yeah. So essentially, it's going to be for those that have money now. I don't know. I'm not a big handheld gamer, so I don't know why you wouldn't just get the home consoles at this point. Like, even at the price hikes, they're half the price of this and probably have better performance, to be honest, in some cases. But then again, I'm not a handheld guy, so I might be missing something here. But $1,800 is just not worth it for this. So, yeah, exactly. And that's why $1,800, like, who is this for? Rich kids, probably? Yeah, this... yeah, I don't get this at all, this here. Yeah, I'm not much into the tech space, so these next two stories I don't get much, but, this is the world we live in. So next up, SanDisk. New PS5 SSD costs nearly $3,000. SanDisk has revealed the pricing for its new line of officially licensed PS5 SSDs, with the top of the range model costing nearly $3,000. The storage firm announced its Optimus GX Pro range on Tuesday, which drops the WD Black branding and offers up to 8 terabytes of storage on an officially licensed drive for the PS5 and PS5 Pro consoles. Unsurprisingly, it's the SSD pricing range's pricing that's caught the most attention, with the 8-bit model costing almost $3,000, and that's discounted from $3,700. And even the 2 terabyte retailing for more than $100 than the actual console itself. A 1 terabyte model retails at $380, a 2 terabyte at $760, and a 4 terabyte at $1,500. The pricing again highlights the global surge in component prices driven by demand for AI data centers and forcing most consumer electronic companies to raise their product prices drastically. As noted by PC Parts Picker, a near identical 8 gigabyte SSD drive from Dan6 would have cost around, that's probably 8 terabyte, not 8 gigabyte. From SanDisk would have cost around $640 less than a year ago, representing a $370 70% price increase. Yeah, so so just to expand the memory is the same price as buying a whole new system now. So yeah, learn to delete your games. Essentially, is this process. Um, yeah, this is insane pricing right now. I'm hoping that nothing on this bad boy over here breaks anytime soon, or the news hour will be no more until I can save up a bunch of money. But yeah, this is kind of insane. Um, yeah, and it's and you can't even tell people to like go build a PC because then that's going to be just as expensive. Yeah, it's these prices are just getting out of control, and it's making video games become an expensive person's hobby for the newest stuff, and those of us like Night Duck and Tom who have appreciation for the older stuff, we'll still be able to get our stuff and be able to play and not, be too, you know, um, devoid of games. But for anybody stepping into the market, it's just insane now. I can't imagine being a teenager like when I bought a GameCube and a PS3 with my own money from a job. The PS3 was after the FAT system, is when the price came down. Um, you know, being able to save up from a summer job to buy those systems. I can't imagine having to do that nowadays. Um, yeah, exactly. As Night Duck said, retro handhelds have been selling out because they're one of the cheapest options, and there's only so many. So there's only so many before those price hikes hit too. Yeah, yep. Uncle Vim is going to be very busy going forward here. Yeah, so final three stories, not as crazy. Um, we leave it on a lighter note. Um, Nintendo says Zelda Ocarina of Time remake will have timeless gameplay, implying no massive overhaul. An official description for the upcoming remake of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time suggests its gameplay won't stray too far from the original. As noted on Sunday by Blue Sky user Takeo, I would pronounce that as, searching for the game's official website on Google returned an official description for the game taken from the site's media metadata. The description reads, the N64 Classic Reborn is a full remake for Nintendo Switch 2. Experience the Ocarina of Time with stunning visuals, updated designs, and timeless gameplay. Since the discovery, the site's metadata has changed, and searching for the game now provides the following description. The N64 Classic returns for a new generation in 2026, reborn exclusively for Nintendo Switch 2. Running the URL through the Internet Archive. God, I love good detective work like this. Through the Internet Archive and viewing the page's source information, however, reveals that the metadata referring to stunning visuals, updated designs, and timeless gameplay was indeed present on the site until its removal on Sunday. Some has interpreted timeless gameplay as confirmation that Ocarina of Time won't stray too far from the N64 original. While this doesn't necessarily mean a complete recreation, similar to the Nintendo 3DS version of the game, or the upcoming Switch 2 Star Fox, which is a remake of Star Fox 64, it could mean the structure, story beats, and gameplay style remains the same. Yeah. So, all this stuff coming out with this game is just because Nintendo showed us nothing of the game in the Direct, like zero. I like the way Link looked in the game. I like the tapestry storytelling, but by giving us nothing else, all this stuff, people are going to dig into the metadata and try and find out anything they can about this game. Doing a teaser might have been the worst thing they could have done, especially if they're releasing it this year. You could have done the teaser at a previous, Direct and had this be the gameplay reveal this time. So I'm assuming it's either going to be Gamescom or a Tokyo Game Show where we get, or a Direct in July or August, where we'll get gameplay and a release date. But yeah, all the speculation is just because they gave us nothing, and people are just going insane because of it. I can't wait for the game. I literally bought a Switch 2 for the game. So, next up, this came out like almost 12 hours after we got done last time. Electronic Arts launches EA Advertising, which it says will add brands into games in a non-disruptive way. EA Advertising will let brands integrate directly into gameplay through dynamic real-time placements, from stadium signage to custom in-game content, designed to enhance, not disrupt, the player experience. According to EA, brands will be able to implement advertising campaigns in games and update or optimize them based on aggregate insights from player engagement. The publisher is offering brand partnerships and gameplay integrations, which will allow brands and agencies appear in players' games in the form of in-game challenges, rewards-driven objectives, and branded content. It also includes ad units in EA Sports games, including digital ad boards, scoreboards, and broadcast overlays. Ads are dynamically served within the game, and brands receive data on the number of ad impressions they get from this. EA also says it has new proprietary ad server and SDK as part of its Frostbite engine, which lets advertisers collaborate with EA in a privacy safe way to improve targeting and gain deeper campaign insights. A select group of official partners will also form the EA Sports Partners Program, with existing examples including Visa, which is partnering with EAFC and EA Sports College Football to develop immersive participatory experiences. Lowe's, which had Ultimate Team content in EA Sports FC, Madden, and college football, included challenges and branded player content. EA Sports says more than 200,000 of these challenges were completed. Red Bull had branded in-game objectives and team kits in EAFC, driving more than 128 million matches played and 1.2 million objectives completed. Xbox, Jesus, I mixed those two together. This is my old wrestling brain coming out. Xfinity and Peacock had in-stadium broadcast style integrations, custom vanity kits, ultimate team packs, and personalized rewards in EA Sports FC. Mountain Dew had Dew University in EA Sports College Football 26, a fully playable team experience, complete with a custom stadium, mascot, and rewards ecosystem. Yeah, so essentially, yeah, so the opposite on my end. I'm probably going to still buy these games anyway. But I will give them this year. Let me buy EA Sports, college football and FC 27 and see how they integrate into it. If it's just like, hey, this third quarter is brought to you by Visa, whatever. And it's like some kind of ad read or something in the game. Fine, it'll feel like a sports broadcast. I'm fine with it. But if they force me to, this win is brought to you by Xfinity, if it's anything that wouldn't be in a normal sports broadcast, I'll be against it. And I'm excluding, if they do Ultimate Team stuff and all that stuff, fine, whatever. I don't even touch those modes. But in the Dynasty or Play Now modes and stuff like that, if all it is signage, video boards, maybe a little pop-up, before a replay or something, like this replay brought to you by Pizza Hut, whatever, fine. If it feels like a sports broadcast and it makes sense and it's realistic, I'll take it. But if it's anything outside of that, anything too icky, I will be against it. Yeah. So, yeah. Maybe I'm just more integrated into the sports thing. I don't know. That part didn't bother me so much. I just don't like any of this, Chime U Visa thing that you can see at the top if you're watching the video version. I'll scroll down a bit for that. This stuff is bullshit. This is the stuff I don't want, which will be in there if you play Ultimate Team and stuff, and I don't play Ultimate Team. But if this starts showing up on Dynasty and all, then I'll be a little mad. But it's interesting. It's a lot better than, forced ads when you turn on a game or something. That's where they're going. But I'll take this first step for now. And finally, if you're still supporting Xbox, which unfortunately a lot of people are, Xbox reveals its next 6 Game Pass titles, including EA Sports FC 26 and Call of Duty Vanguard, which might be my favorite Call of Duty. I loved Vanguard so much, the multiplayer. Coming to Xbox Game Pass in June and July, Junkster on June 16th, Call of Duty Vanguard on June 17th, EA Sports FC on June 18th. So those are already out. And coming, Abysseus is June 25th. RV There Yet, June 30th. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4, July 2nd. And Winds of Arcana Ruination on the best holiday in July, July 6th. And leaving Xbox Game Pass, if you're playing these games, Mecha Break, Payday 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Slay the Spire, Ultimate Chicken Horse, Volcano Princess, and Unpacking. So yeah, those are the games on Game Pass. If you are still deeply in Game Pass and really are playing those games that are on that list there, you have till the end of the month. So yeah, that will do it for the News Hour. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Night Duck, for being here. Thank you, everybody else, for watching. We'll be back tonight with our Game Club game from Podcast Prime, which, oh God, I forget exactly what it is. But anyway, it's the game from there. I'm going to try and vamp as I look it up on our thing. It's a Need for Speed High Stakes for the PlayStation 1. There you go. Thanks, Night Duck. Got it in the same time. So yeah, Tom will be playing that tonight. And then I may do my Backlog Buster someday this week. I guess because Tom, if he's willing to move FF10. And if not, we'll do it Friday. If not, I'll figure out another day to do my Backlog Buster of Hatoful Boyfriend. And then on Saturday, we're going to be finishing Trails. I'm going to start early, probably like 7 p.m. To finish that. Sunday, we'll be back for the News Hour here. So, still going to be a busy week here on the Game Vault podcast channel. Be sure to tune in. And hopefully I'll get more time. I should have did it this weekend, but I was really lazy. It was the first time I didn't have anything to do most of the weekend. I probably should have uploaded a few more videos, but they'll come in waves. You'll get a bunch of them all at once. So, I do apologize if you're waiting to continue any series out there. So, yeah. Thank you guys for joining me. We will see you tonight with Need for Speed. And hope you have a good rest of your night. Bye!